Cricket Chat listeners, and hello, Suneer Chowdhary. How's it going?
Hello Shruti, hello all. The going has been good for me, but more so for South Africa, who have gone 2-0 up against a struggling Australian side.
For a change, I'm actually feeling sorry for Australia because it's the third one-dayer now between South Africa and Australia. What do you make of what's gone on in this series so far?
Shruti, there were always questions around Australia's decision to go into a reasonably important series like this against South Africa with such an understrength bowling attack. And now I know that there have been a few injuries, but to rest those few bowlers was a bit questionable. But there was an absence of the talisman cricketer AB de Villiers from South Africa, which might have evened things out somewhat. But this series has just gone on to prove how a potent bowling attack will win you more matches than a rampaging batting lineup. And Australia's inexperienced bowling has been rendered listless, and Australian captain Steven Smith will need to come up with some answers very quickly if they want to get back into this series, Shruti.
Well, you can only play the opponent in front of you, and South Africa have done that rather well here.
Oh, well put, Shruti. Not for South Africa to worry about Australia's decision to field three rookie seam bowlers in the squad and rest the main guys. Mitchell Starc is out injured, but that was after he was first rested from the series. And there's Josh Hazlewood, who's been given a break as well. They need to go out there and perform, and that's exactly what South Africa have done. A win with 14 overs to spare against the world #1 team and the defending World Cup champions in the first game was followed by nearly a 150-run victory in the second match, and that was well said by the likes of Quinton de Kock, Andile Heluayo, and I don't know how to pronounce that name yet, Faf du Plessis, JP Duminy, and some of the others. The fact that there have been different players who have put their hands up at different stages for South Africa in these games makes the Aussie think tank's task even tougher. So that's something to look out for. What will they do come the third one-day international? What's your take on how the South Africans have done so far, Shruti?
Well, South Africa hold all the keys to their success. They have logic in their plans. They know how to go on the offensive at will. And this is something that we have seen in the first two games of this series. So as for this third one-day match, nothing really will change, but the cards do warn them to slow down just a little bit because it's always easy to slip up. See, I'm not concerned about South Africa's batting or bowling too much. In fact, they will display a good mix of strategies. Where I am concerned is their fielding. There could be some frustrating lapses, and hopefully this won't hurt them as much as I think it will. Now, on to Australia. What does Australia do from here on?
Well, you spoke about the fielding, the South African fielding, and yes, from their perspective, they cannot afford to let someone like a Dave Warner or a Steven Smith off. But talking about Australia, tactically, I really do not know whether they can do anything different. They have tried batting first and lost, and then they have tried chasing in the second one-day international and were pummeled yet again. The one mistake that Australia did make in the first game was when they went too hard at the South African bowling as they tried to aim for a big score. I think that was to do with their own weak bowling attack, wanting to give many more runs than they actually did to defend. And they ended up with a sub 300 score, which I think was way below par for that pitch in the first one international. Batting first won't be a bad option, but given batting is a very strong suit of theirs, they will need to make it count, and they will probably need to bat to the situation of the game rather than trying to bat for their bowlers and trying to give more runs than they think could be on the pitch. So that's one thing that Australia could do different come the third one international, Shruti.
And are there any players who you think need to stand up for Australia?
Captain Steven Smith, for one, he needs to lead from the front with the bat, given the spot that they find themselves in. And with scores of just 8 and 14 in the series so far, things haven't looked really rosy for him on either the batting or the captaincy front. David Warner has had 2 starts. I think he scored 40 and 50 in the 2 matches, but failed to get a really big score. And that is what you expect from your champion cricketers, to get a start and go on and build a big one, just like how Quinton de Kock did in the first match, or how Faf du Plessis did in the second. Apart from that, leg spinner Adam Zampa is still in the early days of his career, but he's shown what he can do with the ball with his leg spin. he did struggle in both the matches to achieve any kind of control, and I think Australia will need something from him come this third one international. Shruti, do you think Australia could bounce back in this series given the situation that they are in right now?
I am very hopeful. Well, actually, the cards help me to believe that Australia will display really impressive teamwork and be a lot more forthright with their actions. This will all work well, very well, in fact, at the beginning, but sadly, I don't see this remaining consistent, at least for their batting. They seem unable to keep their initial promise intact.
And that apart, is there any saving grace for Australia? Anything that South Africa would probably need to worry about? I mean, they are playing a world number one team, so the worry factor is always there. But there must be something, right?
Oh yes, of course. It's their bowling. They gather themselves very, very well. Suneer, where were these bowlers earlier? I mean, their line and length will be so much more controlled. Overall, there will be more conviction and confidence. With that in mind, I hope this third ODI gets to be a lot closer to watch. It should not be one of those one-sided affairs again. Now it's prediction time. Who are you going with?
I think you called it there. Even I think that it should not be a one-sided affair. Australia will learn from their mistakes from the first two matches, and they will give it back to the opposition. But I still think that Australia will find enough reserves to get the better of Australia in the third match and take the series 3-0. You, Shruti?
A bit more of a fight, but the cards do still lean towards one team. It's Taro advantage South Africa.
Well, yeah, both of us on the same side of the fence. But that's it for today. We will be back soon. Shruti, when are we coming back for the next episode of the World Cricket Chat?
We are back with the third test between India versus New Zealand very, very soon.
Oh, well, after all the news that has come in through today, we hope that for starters, the third test match between India and New Zealand does go through. But we're confident that will happen. And if that happens, we will be there as well, previewing the third match. Till then, do subscribe to our channel and stay updated with us on Twitter. All these details are mentioned in the description below. Bye for now.